Hi. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I got a new setup. So I'm hoping you can hear me, and I'm hoping this mic is a little better. Let me know. Can you hear me or no? Hello. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Happy hump day. Yay! You can hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. Hi, Patty. Good to see you. Hey, Winnie. Hey, number 7. Good to see you. We're back. Welcome back. Thank you. Yay. No humping. Yes. Happy hump day to all of you. Okay. We need to talk. Hello. Welcome, all new viewers. I always forget to introduce myself. I always feels like we're friends here, you know? So sometimes I feel like I don't need to introduce myself, but you know, there are a lot of new subbies, a lot of new people joining Mellyverse, and a lot of new viewers. And so I appreciate you guys being here and supporting my channel. And hello, welcome to all the new viewers. We do basically just true crime all the time, and we have some fun at nighttime. So make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, all things, all YouTube things. Hey, Rich. We are going to be covering the Decker girls case today, and this one really upsets me for many reasons that I think are obvious. We've talked about here relating to true crime and children. And so before I start, I do want to give a trigger warning. This live does involve crimes, you know, against children. It is Travis Caleb Decker, born 8/15/1992, out of Wenatchee, Washington, I believe is how you say it. And he basically unalives his 3 little girls. So with that being said, why do we like to talk about this stuff? It's true crime, and we want to make sure we spread the word, as he is still wanted. He is not in custody. They have not detained him. And you know, there's many things that come to mind when we cover these cases, and we've covered a lot of them here, like Ashley Bocanegra bullying case. We've covered missing children cases, and we've covered familicide cases, right, where it's within the family. And it's tragic and it's terrible. And my heart goes out to Whitney Decker, who is the mother of the 3 girls, and wife to Travis Decker, who is the father of 3 little girls by the name of Paityn, who is 9 years old, Evelyn, who is 8 years old, and Olivia, who is 5 years old. And we just want to, you know, we could have differing opinions. We're here to talk. I encourage that on my channel. I'm very open to talking about mental health as well. You know, I think we all either have been through mental health issues, or we know someone who has, or in our family even. And it's really uncomfortable. I get it. It's really uncomfortable. And I think until you actually experience it and live through it, then it's so comfortable to talk about in a weird way. And that's always been something that's accepted here on my channel. And I've always been empathetic of it, because I have gone through a lot of that, and there's a time and place for everything. And so I think one day I would like to share that story of my personal experience with mental health. You know, in the past, I think those things are powerful. I think you can teach people and make people feel comfortable and loved when you talk about what you've been through in mental health. It's uncomfortable to talk about. I get it. But I think this case, you know, Travis had mental health problems. He does have mental health problems. And he is also, you know, he is a veteran. He's former military, Army. I'm not sure. We'll have to read through the papers. I don't know exactly all the details. I didn't deep dive this the way I generally do my deep dives. I just kind of got the documents from Plunder True Crime. She's another creator. Love her. And that's who the documents are for, and I contribute financially on her stuff. So we are using it with her permission. And she got, for the documents that I want to read through today, court documents, they're like 1 pages, 5 pages. So basically how we do it here on Mellyverse when we cover true crime is we just get all the facts. Generally, I read court documents. So we're going to read, I think it's CBS article, and then we're going to watch like a 10-minute clip of before, like right when the case first happened and got into the media. And then we're going to read the court paperwork. And then, my apologies. And then we're going to watch the press conference, the initial press conference, which I think is like 15 minutes. And then the press conference that just happened about an hour ago. So we're going to get all the facts of the case. And like I said, trigger warning. It is, a horrifying crime. And going back to the mental health, like you think the way he unalived these beautiful girls is like, you have to think what mental state you're in, right? It's very brutal. And you'll hear about that from the police report. So let's get started. Thank you for being here. This is the case of Travis Caleb Decker, who unalived his 3 little girls, Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, and he is still wanted. He's not in custody. As of right now, they're still searching for him. So let me check in with you guys. He spotted my sister's tandem and his tattoos literally match, guys. Yeah, I saw some stuff about that, but they didn't say anything about it in the press conference that was just happened like about an hour ago. So I'm kind of curious as to if that was really him. When you hate your ex more than you love your children. And that's another thing is like, when I go back to the mental health thing, I think like, okay, I know he's suffering from mental health. The condition he suffers with is BPD. And, it's complicated to talk about those things because it's like not everyone with BPD does this, goes on and does a horrific crime and kills their family and their children or whatever. But a lot of them do. And I've seen both. Spectrums of BPD. I've seen people handle it somewhat well without having any episodes throughout their lifetime. And I have also seen people extensively hurt their life on accident because of that. I have seen both sides. So it breaks my heart that, he's a veteran, he's former military, I think. And so it goes back to deeper things, right? Political issues. And we don't talk politics here on Mellyverse for many reasons. But it goes back to like, okay, they don't get the help that they need. Things aren't in place how I wish they were for mental health and that people had access to it. Because even I, who makes good money and has, luckily blessed with good healthcare access, it was even hard for me to get mental health help when I needed it. So it's like, I empathize with these types of cases and it just makes me upset. And then I think like, why did a father who was suffering through these things have custody of these kids? Not that I think he deserves to lose his kids. It's knowing that he's in a state of, he can't take care of them. Like, he's struggling. And so he was homeless. And he was having mental health issues since October of 2022. And they were going to court hearings, custody hearings. And so you're just like, wait, this is kind of messed up. Like they were going through all of these hearings. They knew he was ill. They knew there was issues. And they still allowed a homeless father, the state of Washington, to have custody of his 3 girls when he did not have a home, a safe place for them under his roof and his care. And he was having mental health issues. Like, it's just obvious that someone like that needs help, medical help. And that's where I get frustrated with this case. And so I don't mean to come off like whatever, but it upsets me because I'm like, wait. Who's responsible then? The court allowed him to have those every other weekend custody because they were on a parent custody plan where he initially had them like so-and-so time. And his wife filed Whitney for him to not have that access because she knew he was struggling. He didn't have a place to live. 3 little girls. And so I'm like, wait, so now they're unalived. And how did we get here? How did he get here? How did this family get here? So I'm going to stop rambling. Like I said, we're going to read a little article clip. We're going to watch a little 10-minute clip from the day it happened, which was May 30th. They were missing at 8 p.m. and they were found unalived Monday, June 2nd, so this week. And then we'll read through the court paperwork. Let's get started. I hope you guys can hear me and see me okay. Let me know. I think I have some of my mods here. Article. Oh, let me make sure I said hi to everyone. Number 7, very, very sad when you, yep. The betrayal of those little girls must have helped. When you hear the details, you're going to be like, wait, it's brutal. I don't want to tell you the way yet. If you already know, don't say it. Just wait till we get there. Hello, all new viewers. Hello, Abuelita's Journey. Yes, I'm your therapist. Hey, Triple B. Hello, Robert. Thank you for being here. Hello, Oscar. When did this happen? Where? WENATCHEE? Don't know how. We'll hear it in the press. I think it's WENATCHEE, Washington. Oh yeah, which said it? WENATCHEE. Girls were found in Leavenworth. Yeah, who? Okay, and so let me make sure I covered it. Travis is 32. He also, being former military, I know he has extensive mountain living skills and mountain survival skills. So that's going to help him be on the run, in my opinion. And who does this remind you of? I'm just curious before we get started. Brian Laundrie, you know what I mean? He had survival skills as well. Or like, you know, outdoor skills. I just want to make sure I covered everything. Paityn, 9, Evelyn, 8, Olivia, 5. The 3 little girls that were unalived. So let's get started. So this is from CBS News. And this was on, well, it's today. So we're going to cover what they say and then we'll watch the little clip. A Washington state father is wanted for murder after his 3 young daughters were reported missing and then found unalived. Police on Tuesday asked the public for help in finding the fathers of the girls. Travis Decker, 32 years old. He is wanted for 3 counts of murder, kidnapping, and according to police in Wenatchee, about 100 miles east of Seattle. Police said it was unknown whether Decker, a former Army soldier with extensive training, was armed. The mother of the girls, the girls were identified by 9-year-old Paityn, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia, were reported to police on Friday that their father didn't return them after a planned visit. He was supposed to drop them off at 8 p.m. on Friday, May 30th, and he didn't show up. Okay, wait, pause before I continue. Another thing that was really upsetting me about this is the whole Amber Alert thing. We saw it in a couple of the cases I just covered of missing children. I think it's something that needs to be addressed by all legislative departments across the nation. Like, the Amber Alert wasn't put on the news or whatever until Saturday. So they had almost been missing for 24 hours. And you have to think like, wait. Okay, why? Why 24 hours? Why does this happen? Why can't they just put out an Amber Alert when a child is missing? Because when you think about it, when a child is missing, it's not going to be good. You know what I mean? So it's like the obvious is they're either going to be missing by someone they know, they're going to be unalived, they're going to be hurt, kidnapped, or maybe they're going to be alive and just lost. So you have to think like, why don't they just put Amber Alerts right away out for all the children that go missing? That bothers me a lot. I don't get that. Like 24 hours. Why do you have to wait 24 hours? Like, for what? For something bad to happen? This case has all of the factors that I think need to be met with an Amber Alert. They're in danger. Mental health issues. A police report was filed. Custody issues to the court. Missing. Didn't show up on time. I mean, what else did they need? Like, I'm just confused. Anyways, back to the article. Just something to talk about and conversate about. It happens in all states. I think we've covered cases, so many around the world, that I'm always like, wait, they waited to put an Amber Alert like 24 to 48 hours. I'm just like, why? It's so critical and so important. And I think every minute matters when there's children missing. These are the 3 girls on the screen. RIP, my heart breaks. I almost didn't want to do this live because I'm like, this one's rough. Over the weekend, police looked for the children in Decker, who believed he was to be living out of a white 2017 GMC Sierra pickup with Washington plates. Decker's unoccupied truck was located Monday near a campground, police said. During a search, officers found the bodies of 3 girls. Police believe the girls died from asphyxiation and reported that their wrists were zip tied. Anyone who may have seen Decker since Friday or known his current location is asked to call 911. Due to safety concerns, do not attempt to contact or approach Decker, police said. The mother told police that Decker picked up the girls around 5 p.m. but had not returned them by 8 p.m. and that his phone went straight to voicemail. The detective said she expressed concern because Decker reportedly has never done this before and is currently experiencing some mental health issues. What prompted us to call was that he was running late with the girls and had not communicated to her that he was going to be late, which was his typical fashion, and so this was out of the ordinary. Washington State Police contacted Friday night to request an Amber Alert, but it did not meet the required criteria, WENATCHEE police said. The following day, WENATCHEE detectives contacted the patrol with additional information that led to the issuance of an endangered missing persons alert. The lacking criteria were suspected abduction and imminent peril of death or serious injury. In this case, it was a parent with custodial privileges and the children had not been returned home on time. But that's a rather common occurrence and not something where you just automatically assume abduction. Where people do, So the loss of a child and the loss of 2 children and the loss of 3 children is devastating. Everybody's always looks to how we can improve. The alert systems are constantly evolving, and this could prompt further change. Obviously, it didn't work this time. Obviously, we have 3 children that are dead. An exclusive interview with Cairo TV, the girl's mother, Whitney Decker, said there have never been any problems with visitations with Travis in the past. According to the documents filed for custodial interference, Whitney and Travis were married for 7 years, but had been divorced for several years. She told Cairo TV the divorce was civil. Toward the end of the marriage, he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and Whitney did not believe he was on medication for that. Travis was supposed to seek mental health treatment and anger management counseling under the parenting plan, but never did. The Wenatchee School District said the girls were students at Lincoln Elementary. Counseling services are available for children and the staff who need support. To allow students, staff, and families the space and privacy they need to mourn and begin healing, we respectfully ask that you do not come to the school campus except for regular school business. Decker joined the Army in 2013 and transferred to the Washington National Guard in 2021. Washington Militant Department spokesperson said he was full-time member of the Guard until 2023 or 2024 when he switched to part-time. Decker stopped attending mandatory monthly drills over a little than a year ago, and the Guard was in the process of disciplinary discharge for him. This is an absolute tragedy, mourning along with the community. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office, which found the truck, was leading the search in Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest area, while other teams followed up on the potentially credible information and tips. The agency was working with the U.S. Marshals to locate and apprehend Decker, and the search continued Tuesday evening. A reward of up to $20,000 was available for information leading up to his arrest. He had visitation every other weekend. Yeah, he was not allowed overnights. Hello, Asim. Shout out to my mods. Hello, Pantera. I'm just reading what you guys are saying. I mean, brutal, right? Okay, let's play this 10-minute clip of basically the details when this was from, well, it's from today, but it gives you kind of like a rundown of all the details and then get to the police report. I just thought it was a good clip, so I want to make sure I play it. Let me know if you can hear it. I got a new mic.
Turn now to a story that we have been following for the past 24 hours or so, if not more.
Can you guys hear that? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Maybe that's why they haven't found him. He'll probably unalive himself. I was thinking that too. And then, I was thinking of the skills that he has. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe not, maybe he'll survive out there for a period of time. Hey, Lily, can you guys hear that? Good.
And that is that the search continues for this man you see right there on your screen. He is a father who is accused of killing his 3 daughters. This is 32-year-old Travis Decker. Authorities are actively searching for him right now. He is wanted for 3 counts of first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. His 3 daughters, 3 WENATCHEE girls, ages 5, 8, and 9. They were initially reported missing on Friday, and they were found dead on Monday. Travis Decker, the man that authorities are searching for, is described as a former military member with extensive training who authorities say should not be approached by the public because of that potential risk. Washington State Patrol was initially contacted Friday night to request an Amber Alert, but that did not meet with required criteria. The following day, Wenatchee police detectives provided additional information, and an endangered missing persons alert was issued. According to a preliminary report filed with the Chelan County Superior Court, the 3 young girls appear to have died from asphyxiation. Authorities continue to search for Travis Decker. He is accused in killing his 3 daughters. They were located on Monday, and their bodies were found at the Rock Island campground. Decker's vehicle was found nearby with 2 bloody handprints, with also personal items like a blanket, food, car seats, and a wallet. And the camp did show signs of recent activity, with a tent and cooler located a short distance away. Decker's cell phone activity also shows that he drove to and left the same campground a day prior to the kidnapping. Decker is a former military member. He is known to stay at motels or local campgrounds after he had lost housing. He and his ex-wife, divorced for several years, did have a parenting plan which allowed them to see the girls during specific hours, and he in particular allowed to see them every other weekend. According to court documents, Decker's ex-wife claimed that he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and she believes that he does not take medications for that. To speak more on this, I do want to bring in Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison to speak more on the very latest. And Sheriff, we appreciate you joining us here on Live Now from Fox.
Thanks for having me on.
So I want to start with the very latest in this investigation. Authorities have been working around the clock to try and find Travis Decker. What is the latest update? What can you tell us?
So currently we have helicopter units up in the air. We thank Sheriff Knowles with Spokane County Sheriff's Office for having his aircraft out this morning. All of our aircraft also launching here at 11 o'clock Pacific time to follow up with Border Patrol. They had their helicopter up yesterday, along with HSI. We have ground units on the ground. Continuing to comb the area, we've had Washington State Patrol, thanks to Chief Batiste, had their investigative unit for the crime lab out processing the scene. We couldn't do it without our state and federal partners, and we're going to continue to push on. We're working with the U.S. Marshals Service today, along with the FBI and Homeland Security investigations, just to name a couple of the agencies assisting us to track down leads. We have the FBI assisting for online information coming on, and we plan on finding Mr. Decker.
Now, we do know that the suspect does have a military experience. We also know that there were a number of items found on the campground, and authorities have been able to track cell phone service. When it comes to additional leads, surveillance cameras, witnesses, what can you share with us about any of that?
We have our investigative units from Wenatchee Police Department, our investigative unit, FBI, again, U.S. Marshals Service, Homeland Security investigations. Combing the area, we're checking residences. We're fortunate to have a good relationship with the U.S. Forest Service. We have Forest Service deputies assigned to our agency. They're also tracking down cabins that are in the area and looking for any other kind of cameras that we might have missed in our initial sweep through. But thankfully, we got a very supportive community. They've come out with just droves and droves of information, and we feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to get more information to track them.
For folks who are not familiar with this area, we do know that the 3 young girls were found at a campground. Can you describe the layout of this? Is this very rural? Is that a challenge for authorities when trying to search for this individual, for Travis Decker?
You know, we were pretty fortunate that Wenatchee was able to do a majority of the investigation over the weekend. They provided information back to us that we got included into the process here on Monday. We deployed our U.S. Forest Service deputy that's assigned to our agency. and we were able to pick up the campsite pretty quick. He's familiar with the area. I mean, we have 2,900 square miles for Chelan County, 87%, which is not accessible by road. So we understand that this is not unique or new to Chelan County Sheriff's Office. We're prepared for it, and we're able to do what we needed to do to find it quickly and hopefully bring some quick resolution to this incident.
Some really upsetting information from court documents in terms of how it appears that these 3 young girls died. There was also indication that there were some bloody handprints found at the campground site. Can you share with us a little bit more about who those handprints might be from?
Yeah, so we're waiting to get our results back from the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab. Again, we appreciate them coming through, doing such a thorough, assessment of the scene, and then also we're waiting to hear back from our coroner, who will be doing an autopsy here on Thursday. We'll have some more information to go off of.
This is, an investigation that, a lot of people, their hearts are breaking, their parents, it's just very upsetting for, anyone to hear about this. And the issue, of course, continues to be raised about these visitations. From a law enforcement standpoint, should this become a larger discussion point when it comes to Amber Alerts, when it comes to these phone calls, if,
right?
children aren't dropped off at a particular time?
Yeah, this is certainly a conversation we'd like to have our legislative branch to see if we go back through, assess, see where things have been falling short of what we're aiming for when we initially took this on. We certainly appreciate Washington State Patrol and their oversight of the Amber Alert system, which I know a lot of people have called into question, but they follow the guidelines, the rules, and the restrictions currently in place. And we know that our legislators are going to be currently assessing what we learned from this situation and can we make adjustments.
From the public's perspective, when it comes to danger from the public, I know authorities have said, absolutely, if you see this man, Travis Decker, do not approach immediately, call police, particularly with the military background. Can you talk about, whether authorities feel that there might be a danger to the greater public?
Well, clearly, I mean, his actions seem to be unpredictable, unexcusable. So Paityn, Olivia, and Evelyn, their voices matter. We are going to be that voice, and we recognize that he is a danger, and he's an adversary to the sheriff's office until we take him into custody.
Time is of the essence, no doubt, when it comes to the search area, when it comes to the hours that have now occurred following the disappearance of the 3 young girls, following, just the tragic discovery of their bodies. What are you looking at in terms of the timeline as you're trying to track this suspect down as quickly and as safely as possible?
Anything and everything. We haven't taken any breaks since this incident broke out. We found the vehicle. Our units have been on the ground. We've got our SWAT team deployed. We've called every single federal resource that we partner with. We appreciate them coming out and helping us so quickly. We've also called upon our local resources, Washington State Patrol, Spokane County Sheriff's Office, and we'll probably look to King County and Snohomish County as well to get their aircrafts up in the air because we have a lot of ground to cover. But we will not rest, again, until he's found.
Just an additional question. I know that a lot of the items were found alongside the truck. Is there any indication that this suspect may not have access or readily access to food and water, and that might flush him out eventually? Or do you think he might be carrying some extra items that might help him sustain himself, perhaps in the wilderness or wherever without breaking cover?
We're not ruling out any possibility of what he's capable of doing. So as far as we're concerned, he's an extreme survivalist, and he has the ability to survive a long period of time. We're going to continue to keep pressure on him.
This is an absolutely tragic case. It's shaken up not only just the community, but of course, anyone who hears about the story. How is everyone doing, in the county, in this, small community?
Well, it's a close-knit community. We have about 80,000 people for Chelan County. We've seen an outpouring of support. We had a candlelight vigil last night when we were doing our press release. I'm glad that I serve the county that we serve. We have a great agency. They've been working numerous hours. Sleep deprivation is certainly a factor, but we continue to have other agencies step up, support us, handling the more the day-to-day calls. We're putting our resources on the ground and where they need to be. And, our primary thoughts and prayers are with the Decker family. And we know that we want to be the strongest voice possible for these girls, and we are going to hold Mr. Decker accountable. I've made it very clear to him. He is not a friend of the sheriff's office. We will treat him with respect, as is expected, but we continue to pursue him, and we're not going to rest until he's taken into custody, and it's time for him to just accept responsibility for his actions. So We would ask him step up and be the father the girls should have had. He did not act like one, and we will hold him accountable.
And Sheriff, for our viewers who are very closely following this investigation, when might we be getting another update from the Sheriff's Department?
We'll be getting a further update just on our progress today here at 1800 hours. That'll be Pacific time, so 6 o'clock. Trying to get out of the military time there for you. But we're going to continue to give updates. We've been putting out press releases throughout the day today too, as we've been getting information. But our formal one will be more summarizing what we published today.
All right, Sheriff Morrison, we do appreciate you taking the time, and we are going to be following all of the developments.
Shout out to Sheriff Morrison. He is, the press conferences that we're going to hear are, he's involved. So he's done an amazing job. Let's get started on the court paperwork. Trigger warning. These are the actual documents that I said we got from our girl Plunder. Great friend of the channel. Love her. Let's get started. So state of Washington, Travis Caleb Decker, date of birth 8/15/1992, Wenatchee, Washington. State of Washington, and by this information accuses Travis Caleb Decker of aggravated murder in the first degree 3 counts and kidnapping in the first degree 3 counts. Count 1, aggravated murder in the first degree. That the said Travis Caleb Decker in the state of Washington on or about between May 30th, 2025 and June 2nd, 2025 did and there unlawfully and with premeditated intent to cause the death of another person did cause the death of Paityn 4/26/2016, a human being, and furthermore, one, the murder was committed in the course, in furtherance, or in immediate flight from one of the following crimes: kidnapping in the first degree, and or 2, there was more than one victim, and the unalivings were part of a common scheme or plan. That the maximum penalty for the above crime is life in prison without parole. Count 2 is for the second daughter. So one is Paityn, and then the next one is Evelyn, also being charged with the same crimes. And the count 3 is for his third daughter, Olivia. Count 4 is kidnapping in the first degree for Paityn, and then for there and such, the 3 girls. Special allegation, particularly vulnerable victim, aggravating circumstance. And do further allege that the defendant knew or should have known that the victim of the current offense was particularly vulnerable or incapable of resistance, and the victim's vulnerability was a substantial factor in the commission of the offense. And do further allege the defendant used his position of trust, confidence, or fiduciary responsibility to facilitate the commission of the current offense. And do further allege that the offense involved a destructive and foreseeable impact on persons other than the victim. The maximum penalty for this Class A felony crime is life in prison. The next count is kidnapping in the first degree. For Evelyn, basically they state the same thing. I'm just kind of going to read through that because it's three little girls. I can't handle this. This is terrible. And then for Olivia, who was born on June 12th, do further allege the defendant should or should have known that the victim of the current offense was particularly incapable of resistance, and the victim's vulnerability was a substantial factor. Sorry. Imagine, okay, so let me finish this document and then I have to tell you guys something. June 3rd, this was filed. So yesterday. Their method of death was asphyxiation, and he zip tied their hands, and I don't think we've read it yet, but he put a bag over their heads. So you have to think like, wow. It's very brutal, you know. I think the mental state he was in, like, how does one do that with your own children, 3 little innocent girls who love you? Like, I don't get it. I can't comprehend. It's so, and to put a bag over their heads, like, it's so brutal. And now he's on the run. The least he could do is be a man and turn himself in. I mean, he already failed as a father to some extent, right? I do understand he has mental health problems, but at this point, I don't know. Would it be a Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito where he unalives himself? Maybe. I know it is depressing. 3 separate times he did all of those things. 3 separate times is my point. Most predators build in trust. Yeah. Such beautiful angels. Yeah. The betrayal is unbelievable. I know. My heart is broken. Yes. All the condolences to the mother. Can you imagine? Whitney, let's send her a lot of love. That's so terrible. Thank you, Pantera. I appreciate you. It's horrendous. No one should have a notion of what. I know. A bag over their head. We all have mental health problems. Yeah, but we don't unalive someone with the bag over their head, you know? Do you know how long it takes to kill someone like that? I know. That's my point, saying that, you know, the level of brutality, like, to sit there and do that to each one of them 3 times was it a mental health issue or is he evil? It reminds me of Chad Duerman. I have a live coming up for him on this weekend, and it's just like, you know, was it mental health thing? Can we give him somewhat of, you know, mercy, or is that evil to do it 3 times? It's capital murder. I know. Okay, next document. This is just, let's see, Chelan County, I think that is. Sorry if I'm pronouncing anything wrong. The crime, murder first degree and kidnapping first degree times 3 have been committed by the defendant. The date is 6/3/2025. The affiant's belief is based on the following facts and circumstances. Here we go. Trigger warning. On May 30th, 2025, at 21:34 hours, Whitney D. Decker arrived in lobby at the WPD to report a civil complaint. She advised patrol and her ex-husband, Travis C. Decker, had failed to return their 3 children at 8:00 p.m. in violation of their agreed-upon and court-ordered parenting plan. Corporal Gonzalez noted Whitney appeared distraught and looked like she had recently been crying. She advised her and Decker were previously married and had been divorced for several years and have 3 children together. Along with the divorce, the 2 have had a parenting plan in place, with the most current one issued by a judge on September 27th, 2024. The current plan limits Decker's visitation to every other weekend with specific hours of Fridays from 0500 to 2020. What is that? Like, am I supposed to know military time? No. 5 a.m. I think, what is that? 20. He could see him from 5 a.m. to like 8:00 p.m. I think that's why he was being dropped off at 8:00. And Saturdays from 11:00 to 9:00, and Sundays from 9:00 to 6:00. I think that's it. The order also specifies no overnight visits, and the visits will only occur in Wenatchee Valley. So he wasn't allowed to go out of town with them or anything, which is what he did. But he wasn't allowed to have sleepovers, and he wasn't allowed to go out of town with them, and he had them every other weekend. And again, she wasn't doing this. She's done an interview where she wasn't doing this out of malice. He was mentally unwell. So, you know, she knew. Felt him big time. The state also felt this. That's where I'm leaning toward. That's why I was ranting at the beginning. Like, you know, I think the state has a lot to do with that. And if they were doing consistent court hearings, why would they give him full custody if he doesn't even have a home? How could he even give them a safe place when he is living out of his car? Thank you, Carol Stewart, for becoming a new member. Welcome to Mellyverse. I appreciate you. Oh, it's 8 p.m. Yeah, don't come for me about military time. Don't come for me. Whitney reported that Decker picked up their daughters from her residence at 1024 Rosewood Avenue around the scheduled time of 1700 hours, but did not return around 8 p.m. She stated she attempted to call Decker multiple times, but his cell phone goes straight to voicemail, which typically means the cell phone is off or out of service. Whitney expressed concern because Decker reportedly has never done this before and further noted he is currently experiencing some mental health issues. At the time of the initial report, Whitney explained that Travis does not currently have a stable residence and is considered homeless. He is known to often stay in hotels and motels, or he camps at local campgrounds, but Whitney did not know where to find him. Corporal Gonzalez stated he attempted Decker's phone number, but it went straight to voicemail, identifying the cell phone as Decker's. Whitney knows Decker drives a white truck, but was unsure what kind. She, however, noted that he had recently been cited for driving without insurance. Corporal Gonzalez conducted a records search and identified Decker's truck as a white 2017 GMC. He had been in a collision on May 27, 2025, so that's 3 days before the crime, and was in fact cited for some infractions following the investigation by WPD Patrol. It also appears he was in another collision on May 4th, 2025, but left the scene. Call notes say there was no damage to the other vehicle when patrol arrived, and the other driver declined a need for follow-up. Corporal Gonzalez checked Decker's vehicle registration through Flock Safety and found the truck last registered by automatic license plate readers northbound on the �WENATCHEE Bridge. He noted that this was likely after Decker picked up his daughter and suspected he may be headed to a hotel or a campground in the north end. After the contact with Whitney, Corporal Gonzalez checked all hotels and motels in city limit as well as Confluence State Park. While at Confluence, he spoke to a park ranger and was able to check their camping roster. Decker was not listed as staying at any campsite. East Wenatchee PD Officer Conley was contacted and asked to check East Wenatchee hotels and motels for Decker's vehicle. After a search of the area, Decker's vehicle was not located. Given the circumstances and an attempt to locate, ATL was initiated for all Valley agencies to be on the lookout for Travis, his vehicle, and the children. Corporal Gonzalez investigated further and consulted with Washington State Missing and Endangered Person Unit. He provided the facts of the case to screen for an Amber Alert, but based on the fact that there was no current evidence to believe the children were at risk of serious bodily injury or death, it did not qualify. Okay, I said this at the beginning. How does that not qualify for an Amber Alert? So you don't know that they're physically hurt? No, I think an Amber Alert should qualify within minutes or hours of a child missing. I think hours is even too much. How is that even right? I have questions here. Like, these are things that are in place by the legislative government and the government in itself. So I guess think about that when you vote. Just saying, we don't talk politics here. We're not going there, but these are things to consider. You know what I mean? Like, why did they wait almost 24 hours? I don't get it. It makes me sick to my stomach. A lot of states don't have the funds to hold someone for mental eval. That needs to change. I hate child cases. So many predators in the country. Exactly what is happening. I know, it's terrible. Imagine the guilt the mother's putting on herself right now. I'm praying for her. I really am. Whitney was advised of the updates and the inability to locate the children, Travis, or his vehicle. She was advised to call Rivercom immediately if and when she hears from Travis. On May 31st, 2025, there was a large social media presence looking for information into the whereabouts of Decker and the children. By the time I saw the social media post, it was clear that Whitney had not been able to contact Travis for over 12 hours. And from WPD's pass down, it was noted that one of the children had an event planned at a local park the morning of that Decker and the children never showed up. So the next day, they were supposed to show up for something and they didn't. With the continued concern about the lack of communication from Travis, I met with Whitney and her parents at her parents' residence in Wenatchee to get further details. Whitney explained that she and Decker were married for about 7 years, but have since been divorced for a few years. She explained the divorce was civil, and initially Decker had housing and was allowed overnight visits. However, when he lost his housing, the parenting plan was readdressed to accommodate accordingly. Whitney denied any domestic violence during their marriage, but did mention moments of power or control he used. She provided the examples of randomly leaving or waking up or waking her up by screaming at her in the middle of the night. She also said near the end of the marriage he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and she believes he currently does not take medications for this. While married, Whitney and Travis had 3 children in common. She identified them as 9-year-old Paityn, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia. They reportedly have a good relationship with Decker and enjoy their time with him. The overall relationship was reported to be good and the children enjoy their time with him. Whitney also reported no issues with recent visitation and stated her and Decker are communicative with issues surrounding them and if either will be late for any reason. She reiterated that Decker has never failed to return the kids. The parenting plan provided by Whitney specifies the visitation hours and discusses holiday and birthday considerations. Notable concerns are reasons putting limitations of parenting show Decker had neglected his parental duties and has a long-term emotional or physical problem that gets in the way of his or her ability to parent. The plan also notes details about access to the children and ability to talk with them via cell phone when needed. Whitney said they agreed to the plan, but the signature line states Travis refused to sign. Travis is also supposed to seek mental health treatment and DV anger management counseling under the parenting plan, but he failed to. The exchange on Friday night occurred without issues. However, Whitney noted that Travis was quieter than usual and was out of character. She mentioned the recent ticket being a financial burden for him, along with garnished wages due to back child support. She then added he had been talking about getting rid of his dog due to housing and further financial concerns. Whitney stated his children and his dog are the 2 big positives in his life. Whitney also stated that when overnight camping trips have been allowed, they have been planned in advance with clear details of the plans. The children also leave with a bag of clothing and appropriate attire to spend the night outdoors. When they left the home, they had clothes in their backpack. As of June 2nd, 2025, at 0900 hours, there has been no contact with Travis, and his cell phone continues to go straight to voicemail when called. He has failed to return the children on Friday, May 30th. He failed to return the children on Saturday, May 31st. He failed to return the children on Sunday, June 1st. Decker then failed to show up to work this morning, and his boss noted some recent mental health concerns. Given that Decker has failed to return the children when directed and with no open communication with Whitney, it is believed there is an intent to withhold the children permanently from Whitney. And given that he has superposed 3 different schedules, times for returns of the children, is believed that he is well past a protracted period of time. And given that the children left home with no supplies for the extended time it is believed, there is substantial risk of illness or physical injury. Therefore, there was probable cause to arrest Travis C. Decker for 3 counts of custodial interference in the first degree on June 2nd. A warrant for his arrest was requested and later granted by a judge. In an active attempt to locate Travis and the children, law enforcement utilized a variety of resources and known tools to include cell phone records and timing advance, automatic license plate readers, canvassing of the area for security, search of possible locations in the region, and social media. On Monday, June 2nd, 2025, a larger and more intensive search was conducted across Chelan County with the help of CCSO and eventually family, friends, and volunteers as people began to learn about the children's disappearance. On June 2nd, 2025, Deputy McLeod located Travis's vehicle unoccupied in the area of Rock Island Campground, Leavenworth, Washington, off Icicle Road with the near city town of Leavenworth. The campground is located in an unincorporated Chelan County in the state of Washington. Law enforcement personnel from Chelan County Sheriff's Office and Wenatchee Police Department, along helicopter support from Homeland Security, converged in the area. Approximately 75 to 100 yards past where the vehicle was located and down a small embankment, CCSO deputies located the bodies of 3 school-aged children. Due to current safety concerns and scene preservations, the bodies have yet to be approached, but there are some clear signs of lividity. Each has a plastic bag over their head. I'm sick to my stomach when I read this. And zip tied their little hands in the car. Hey, CW, good to see you, love. Gruesome. Yeah. Yeah. Let's continue. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Based on the totality of the circumstances, including the proximity of the vehicle and visible attire of the bodies, which is consistent with the clothing the children were wearing when they were transferred to Decker for visitation, and they were presumed to be the three girls. Decker's location is currently unknown, and there's currently a coordinated effort to search the immediate area, if not further, for him, so the scene we have can be searched. Around the vehicle and along the way to where the children are located, officers and deputies located zip ties and plastic bags strewn throughout the area. The tailgate of the pickup truck also has what appears to be 2 handprints of blood. The truck has personal items to include blankets, car seats, food, miscellaneous items, and a wallet in the center console. During the search of an area, an abandoned camp was located at nearby in the proximate, and it gives longitude and latitude with signs of recent activity. The camp consists of a fire pit, tent, and cooler within a short walk from when the vehicles and bodies were located. Cell phone records, Decker's cell phone acquired Saturday under exigency show that Decker likely traveled to the area on Thursday, May 29th evening and returned Friday morning. Under the totality of the situation, it appears that Travis drove through the area the night prior and returned the next day with the children. Preliminary examinations suggest the likely cause of death was asphyxiation. Their wrists were also zip-tied or shown signs of being zip-tied. They were also positively identified as the 3 girls. There is probable cause to arrest him for the 3 counts of murder and kidnapping. Brutal, Okay, we have one more page to read, and then we'll watch. So dark. And then we'll watch. It reminds me a lot of Gabby Petito. You know, they were also in the campground, and Brian Laundrie, I believe, also had mental health issues, and brutal crime. This is just, what is this? Order for a warrant on probable cause. I don't even think we really need to read this. It just states that, you know, they have a warrant for him, signed and dated June 3rd. Let me see if we even need to read the other one, because we might have just gone through all the details. Yeah, so the next one, it just says that they're going to arrest him, but who knows? Is he still alive? I know they say that there was a sighting of him, but they're not sure if that was him. And I know that maybe, you know, what he did is terrifying. So would you still want to live after doing something like that? I don't know. You know, I don't wish that upon him, but what he did was terrifying. I do want to show Whitney. There's a GoFundMe for the mom of the 3 girls, Whitney Decker, which is his wife. I did want to show it. I will link it in the description, and I will pin it in the comments as well. And I've already dropped it in the chat. If you can help here, there, anywhere, I'm probably going to help myself. You can always visit the GoFundMe and support. You know, she probably needs a lot of help. I don't think it's anything money can, you know, fix to an extent, but it could definitely help her with funeral services and, you know, whatnot. Yeah. Okay, we're going to watch the first press conference, which happened I think on Monday, and then we're going to watch the one that just came out like about an hour or 2 ago, which is like 12 minutes. So we're going to watch the one from the day that the bodies were found, and then we're going to watch the one from today. So we're all caught up. You read the paperwork. We got all the facts of the case, and we can continue to follow it. And like they said, if you are close to the state or in the area, and if you see him, definitely call 911.
With the Wenatchee Police Department. This is Sheriff Morrison, obviously, with the Chelan County. And I'm going to start out the press release and talk about how we got to where we did just a couple of days ago, or just yesterday. So I'll start off and give you a timeline of the involvement of Wenatchee Police Department in this case. On May 30th, at about 9:35 p.m., Wenatchee police officer Corporal Gonzalez responded to a call of a civil complaint. In responding to that call, he interviewed Whitney, the mother of the 3 young girls. There was no reported history of problems with the parenting plan. There were reported concerns of Travis being homeless and financially stressed recently. Whitney was clear that during the exchanges that had occurred in the past, that Travis was very communicative with her in any deviations from the parenting plan. Corporal Gonzalez, after speaking with Whitney, was able to identify Decker's vehicle through a local database called Spillman. He took the vehicle information and was able to enter it into Flock, which is a system of cameras that are located within the city and also in Chelan County. Flock located the vehicle, the white GMC Sierra, traveling northbound across the Wenatchee River Bridge. This was shortly after Decker had picked up the children for the visitation. After this information was obtained, and in addition to information that had been received by Whitney that Travis frequented local hotels and often local campgrounds as well, all local hotels and campgrounds in East Wenatchee and Wenatchee were checked by patrol officers from those jurisdictions, and Decker was not located. Park rangers were also contacted at Confluence Park and made aware of the situation. An attempt to locate was then sent out by Corporal Gonzalez to all regional agencies containing Decker's information along with the vehicle information. After that, Corporal Gonzalez made contact with Washington State Patrol and consulted their unit for an Amber Alert. The information at the time did not meet the threshold for an Amber Alert. On May 31st, Corporal Gonzalez contacted Sergeant Eaton at about 7 a.m. and advised him of the situation. After that conversation had occurred, Detective Brian Hewitt with the Wenatchee Police Department and Detective Sergeant Joe Eaton discussed the incident as well, and Detective Hewitt responded that day to continue the investigation. The family was contacted and additional information was obtained. He learned Travis and the daughters did not arrive at a planned 5K running event that morning, which was out of the ordinary to Whitney. Travis had had a recent history of attending and being present for all the daughters' events and programs. And, at that point, Detective Hewitt started to reach out to some of his contacts at the state and federal levels as well. He enlisted the assistance of the FBI, and with assistance from the FBI, phone location data was obtained for Thursday through Friday, plotting locations in and around Leavenworth. Detective Hewitt then, with that information, went to Leavenworth and started focusing on the areas of Chumstick and Icicle Road, and did not have any success in locating Travis or his vehicle or the girls. Throughout that day, Detective Hewitt had multiple contacts again with WSP, or Washington State Patrol, and continued to provide updates and request an Amber Alert, which still the information that he provided and had obtained did not meet the threshold for the Amber Alert to be activated. However, an Endangered and Missing Person Alert, an EMPA, was activated by the Washington State Patrol at approximately 4:00 p.m. I want to explain a little bit that the Endangered and Missing Person Alert does generate a flyer that goes out to all the contacts through that State Patrol Missing and Endangered Person Unit, so that goes statewide. As well, the information for the alert is posted on the reader boards that I'm sure everybody's familiar with on the state highways around Washington, and those were activated here locally on the major ingress and egress highways such as Highway 2 and I-90. Also on May 31st, Detective Hewitt had developed and communicated probable cause for custodial interference first degree, 3 counts of custodial interference first degree, and began assembling the paperwork to obtain those warrants. The following day, on June 1st, Detective Hewitt conducted additional follow-up and complete.
I'm sorry, I'm so angry about the Amber Alert. Like, I'm still stuck on that. I don't
his
understand
initial
that.
report and request for the arrest warrants for custodial interference, which were granted and later entered into the system. The following day, which was Monday, the WPD Detective Unit met to devise a plan for the day on follow-up and submitting necessary paperwork for the warrant to ensure that had all gone through. WSP was contacted again, referenced the Amber Alert, yet we still didn't meet the criteria. The EMPA was deemed to be the best fitting alert, and one of the things that I want to share with everybody about that EMPA, because it is a, I'll say, level below or degree below the Amber Alert, it actually comes with an expiration time, and we were able to work with WSP because we did actually reach our expiration for that alert, and it by policy was supposed to have been pulled down, but through good communication, good cooperation, and the relationship that we've built with Washington State Patrol over a long period of time, they agreed to leave that up. And we also enlisted the cooperation of the Department of Transportation as well, who has some input and does actually help WSP run those reader boards as well. So we were able to get that cooperation, and so I want to emphasize that WSP was very good to work with, as was DOT, and we had that information up and available to the public for as long as possible, extending past what the policy said it should have been up there for. Also on Monday, CCSO detectives were contacted and assisted. We communicated with them and developed a plan for CCSO detectives to check the areas of Chumstick and Icicle Road as well. Myself, Sergeant Eaton, and Detective Hewitt, shortly after coordinating with CCSO units, contacted the family and requested a meeting at the Wenatchee Police Department with the family and family representatives at approximately 10 a.m. The primary intent of the meeting was to provide an update to the family and answer any questions that they had about the ongoing investigation. The meeting was very positive and focused on maintaining good communication flowing back and forth both directions to maximize the exchange of information. At about 3:47 p.m., a CCSO deputy located the vehicle up the Icicle near the Rock Island campground. Sergeant Eaton and Detective Hewitt immediately responded to there to assist, and I remained at WPD to continue communication with the family and to coordinate additional law enforcement assistance from down here in the valley should it be needed. Upon arrival at the camp, upon arrival up there, the WPD units that responded connected with CCSO deputies that had responded to the scene as well. And from there, they began their ground search of the immediate area around the vehicle. The initial information that we were provided following the locating of the vehicle was that the vehicle was unoccupied, and shortly thereafter we were advised that the bodies of the three young girls had been located in relatively close proximity to that vehicle, and Travis was nowhere to be found. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Morrison and allow him to continue the press conference.
This is my favorite sheriff.
Evening. I'm Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison. I appreciate all you being
He's
here.
super good.
I really want to make sure that I point out that it's moments like these where we see our community coming together, paying respects to those young individuals that lost their lives. I want to pay respects to Paityn, Evelyn, Olivia. Your memory will never be forgotten, and we will not stop pursuing justice for you until those that were accountable for this are found. So I do appreciate everyone being here. To follow up, because I know the Captain Chance has already touched on a lot of the topics that we've already discussed, I want to give thanks to the Wenatchee Police Department, Chief Reinfeld, Captain Miller, Captain Chance, Sergeant Eaton with the Detectives Unit that provided Chelan County Sheriff's Office with the information we needed to properly assist them. For those of you who don't know, Chelan County is a large area. We have 2,900 plus square miles. when you're talking about trying to find individuals in a geographically diverse terrain, it's difficult. But by them doing their investigation follow through over the weekend, we're able to pinpoint it in the areas of Chumstick Highway, Icicle, Tumwater Canyon. I know that many of you here from the area recognize that's still a pretty large area, but we're fortunate to have partnerships with the U.S. Forest Service that funds some of our deputies, specifically U.S. Forest Service deputies that are contracted with us. Our Forest Service deputy was able to go up the Icicle. We're about 18 miles up for those of you who have not been up there. And that deputy was able to locate the vehicle of the suspect. We did back off to make sure we were in compliance with Washington state law when it comes to de-escalation, controlling pace. We called additional units. I know that many members of the community were concerned, asking why we were having deputies, police officers from East Wenatchee, Douglas County, Wenatchee PD, responding at a high rate of speed. This was an important situation for us. We took it as a high priority. Once we had additional units on scene, we did secure the vehicle, determined that we were able to bring in additional resources, which was our East Cascade SWAT team that did an additional search of the surrounding area of the campsite in question until we determined that a perimeter had been established and that it was safe enough for additional detectives and the Washington State Patrol's crime lab to come in and assist us as we process that scene. As Captain Chance already mentioned, that was prompted when we did find the bodies of the deceased. Again, our condolences and our heartfelt sympathy goes out to the Decker family. We know they're struggling, but I want them to know they're not struggling alone. We suffer as a community. It has hit many of us hard. Going on 20 years, I don't think I've had a situation that has really almost prompted tears to come up. We feel for the family, and we see as everyone else is out here, they're not suffering alone. There's a lot of people here supporting them. We were able to do an extensive processing of the scene throughout the night while we maintained perimeter security. Once that was secured, the vehicle was taken back for an additional search warrant. We brought in additional units to come in and assist us. That'd be our federal partners from U.S. Border Patrol, Homeland Security Investigations, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Marshal's Office. They did an extensive search today, in addition to the Air National Guard, bringing in aviation supplies to come in, fly over there. We had drones in the air. We've been conducting a search since early this morning up until later on this afternoon. That, unfortunately, has not allowed us to locate the suspect yet, but we are not done searching. As we speak, the Marshal's Office, the FBI, they're processing leads, they're conducting follow-up, and we will not rest until Travis is located. Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in. Do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to go away, we're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice. Those young ladies deserve it. We will take additional questions later on.
Children,
the Sheriff's Office,
not
Wenatchee
ladies.
Police Department, East Wenatchee, Douglas County, and all of our federal partners are going to continue to work with one another to ensure that justice is served. Thank you.
Sheriff, is their dad still
It's
alive?
still in Washington,
We are
CW.
unsure.
Leavenworth or Leven, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing things wrong. Still in Washington, I believe.
If Mr. Decker is currently alive, but we are taking it that he is still out there. And again, we will not rest until we've located him, whether he's alive or he's dead. We want to make sure that he's brought back.
And for the public that's keeping an eye out for him, is there anything in his records that would suggest that he is violent?
Not at this time, but based off the allegations that are being made against him, we do consider him to be a threat towards the community. We also ask the community to stay out of the Icicle Gorge area for the time being until we can secure that area and ensure that he is not there. That is a big area. We're talking about the enchantments, we're talking about French Creek, going up on those spur trails. It's a popular area that we like to recreate in as well. We don't close it down or encourage people not to go there lightly, but for the best interest of the public, we'd encourage them find other places to recreate until we can ensure that that area is safe.
Can you provide any additional information about
Could you come a little bit closer, ma'am? Thank you.
would you mind providing a little bit additional details about the scene where the girls were found?
Within reason, but I'm not going to go into a lot of details in regards to the scene because our investigative unit has requested that a lot of that information remain private until we can ensure that the information we are sharing is not going to compromise the investigation. Again, we don't want to rush. We don't want to take any chances that we would give him any opportunity to be able to beat this later on in court.
Is there a belief that he could be outside of this area you guys are searching right now, or is there a strong belief this is the area?
Nope, we have no leads that are showing specifically where he's at. So as we're taking it, he could be anywhere within the nation, and that's why we have our federal partners on scene helping us bring in additional resources that a medium-sized agency like Chelan County would not be able to provide. Again, this is the importance of having those partnerships with federal government and larger agencies, especially Washington State Patrol. We cannot do this without their assistance, and we're thankful for that.
Do you have any reason to believe Mr. Decker might have found a second vehicle to travel in?
that could be a possibility. Nothing's off the table. We're going to continue to actively pursue him, and we understand that he could be anywhere, and we're taking that into consideration. Thanks to the U.S. Marshal's Office that have come in and brought additional resources. Again, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Homeland Security Investigations, we are searching anywhere and everywhere for him.
Sheriff, thanks for taking our questions. Alex from King 5 News. Have you had any contact with Mr. Decker's family?
We have. We've been in continuous contact. I know that Captain Chance and Captain Miller have been in regular communications with them. I spoke with them yesterday and today and assured them that anything they needed from our local resources, they were available.
So they're cooperating?
They are absolutely cooperating. They have been very supportive of our efforts, and we've reminded them we could not do this, we could not conduct our investigation and have a better understanding of Travis without their assistance. And again, we're very appreciative of what they've done so far.
Is Upper Icicle Road still physically barricaded? Is there a point where the people cannot travel further?
Our barricade will be lifted later on today. Again, we have continued to expand our search further and further down Icicle. Last I heard, we were around milepost 4. Again, we're encouraging people, do not go there. Even if our roadblock is lifted, we are not saying that the area is safe. Until we locate him, we're determining nothing's off the table.
Mr. Decker had a dog with him at certain points. Do we know if the dog was present at that campsite at any point?
We do know the dog was present and that our units, when they arrived on scene, did locate the dog.
Has there been any use of canines in the search?
I would check with our captain, but I am not sure if a dog's been used.
Has there been any other evidence found, like a phone or anything like that?
There has been other evidence found. We really appreciate Washington State Patrol and their crime lab team for coming in, doing such a thorough search. Our investigative units with detectives, WENATCHEE PD, Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Again, we did not hustle this. We went through, we were methodical with it, and we made sure to cover every single thing possible because we recognize the weight of this situation.
Sheriff, a question from our newsroom right now. Do you know if any of Mr. Decker's family members are missing? His dad, perhaps?
We've been in communication with several members of Mr. Decker's family. We know that they've also been willing to cooperate with us. I believe his dad's flying in to talk with us and work with us a little bit further. We appreciate their cooperation as well.
So his dad is not missing?
At this time, I'm not aware of his father being missing or any other members of his family missing. Again, that's just based off the information I currently have.
Do you know the time of death?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We know that our coroner's office, that'd be the Chelan County's coroner's office, is going through that process and will continue to do their portion of the investigation as well. I won't speak on that half.
Have the girls been brought physically home?
They are still being cared for by the Chelan County coroner's office.
Was there any
The autopsy of the girls is supposed to be complete tomorrow, but we probably won't get those. I think they're minors, so I don't think they're going to release them.
At this time, we have not gotten an update for what additional information has been
Christine, I'm
obtained
in
today.
love.
We just know the investigation's ongoing. We'll conclude it at that. Appreciate it. We will have another press conference tomorrow. I believe that's going to be at 1800 hours. Again, we appreciate everyone being out here showing support for the family. I can tell you they do appreciate all of you being here. We spoke with them. This is the kind of support you like to see from our county. It really represents what Chelan County is all about. And again, the family thanks you for that. And any information that you have that could assist us with the investigation, please continue to bring that information in. We do have the FBI, in addition to members of the Wenatchee Police Department, Chelan County Sheriff's Office, that is working leads, following up on them actively, and we have analysts going through data online as well. We are taking this serious, and we'll continue to do what we can to assist. Thank you.
Okay, so that press conference was from Monday when they were found, and now we're going to play the press conference from literally just like an hour and a half ago, right before I came live. So it's a new updated one, and this one is just 12 minutes. So we'll have a current update. Thanks for being here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe.
Another update on the investigation. For the
Join
record,
the family.
my name is Sergeant Joe Eaton, J-O-E-E-A-T-O-N, and Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison, M-I-K-E-M-O-R-R-I-S-O-N. Tonight he'll deliver his updates, and then at the conclusion of his update, 5 minutes for questions. With that, I'll turn it over to Sheriff Morrison.
Thank you, Sergeant. Try not to disturb anyone's microphones here. Do appreciate everyone coming out. We don't have as much information to provide today, but we have been working tirelessly throughout the day with our federal resources, state resources, neighboring agencies. As always, I'd like to start off just by recognizing the Decker family, let them know they're still very much in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working hard Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia are clearly a motivating force for us. A lot of our guys are working with sleep deprivation, but their thoughts are always on the girls and making sure that we're staying motivated and getting the results the family expects out of us. So, as we mentioned before, not much to go off of. We have been following leads thanks to the FBI and their analysis team that has been going out, processing social media leads throughout the nation, not just here locally. Following up those leads, we've been assigning detectives, marshal services, representatives to go out and do interviews. We also appreciate the nation police departments. We had one in McCall, Idaho today, was doing follow-ups for us. So we're not just keeping our focus here within Chelan County, we're also focusing nationwide on other leads that are coming out. Again, thank you to those police departments, sheriff's offices, state agencies across the nation that have stepped up to assist us and giving us the additional resources that we desperately need. Clearly, this is not the outcome we wanted to see. We were hoping that we could find Travis today, but we are feeling optimistic thanks to our Marshals Department that has come through and tracked down some good leads that we feel are giving us more of an insight into Travis's mindset, where he may have not gone or may have gone to. And we'd also like to thank the FBI and their behavioral analysts unit that has also gone through, done an assessment of some of the interviews that we've had regarding Travis and made a determination on maybe what his thought process was, what decisions he might have made, and where he had gone. In addition to our detectives also following through some of the financial documents, tracking
Hi, Denise.
areas that he had
Thanks for being
previously
here.
frequented, and we're optimistic that we will find him shortly. We'd also like to thank Spokane County Sheriff's Office for coming out, Sheriff Knowles, having their helicopter fly from 6 o'clock this morning to 11, as I understand it. At 11 o'clock, our helicopter was also on ground at the fish hatchery in Leavenworth to fly the Icicle Creek. We also deployed our swiftwater rescue team to go through there and start searching the creek in cases that Travis did enter in there. The water is running pretty quickly now thanks to the spring runoff, but we're optimistic that with our air units up in the sky, looking over the terrain, it's definitely diverse when you're talking about the amount of acreage that we're covering. That we're doing the best we can. We also want to thank Sheriff Myers down in Kittitas County for deploying some of his search and rescue units, checking trailheads on the backside of Chelan County to see if there's any opportunity that Travis might have made it out to that location. We have learned so far through our investigation today that he is well versed in outdoor survival. And talking with his father, it sounds at times that he would go out and would be leaving off grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months. So we also understand too that he at times would do caching. So we understand that that's a possibility that he could have scoped out this area before, put supplies out there, and has the ability and the knowledge to survive for a long period of time. We saw this before a couple years ago when we assisted Kittitas County with a similar case. So we are putting our resources out. We saw our SWAT team today out off the Icicle drainage, checking residences through there, in addition to us still having units out on the ground, continuing to check, in addition to expanding out and looking at local counties. So we're going to continue to do what we need to do, partnering with our federal partners. We will again want to say thank you to the FBI, Homeland Security that has assisted us more yesterday. Also going with the Marshal Services, the Washington State Patrol that has been working alongside of us, along with their detective units. And we've also had a forensics electronic detective going through the cell phone and other electronic items that we've collected on the scene. So we're hoping to gather more information, take that intel that we've gathered today, and continue to press on tomorrow. But at this time, we have not found Travis. My message is still the same. Travis, if you're out there seeing us, we'd like you to turn yourself in. We want a peaceful resolution to this, but we're not going to relinquish our efforts and giving up any effort that we can proceed to track you down. So please turn yourself in. Let's wrap this up and do what's right for your kids. So any questions?
True.
No, and I don't think there'd be any motive that'd be acceptable. I mean, clearly,
Facts.
it's not the decision of a sound mind, and these young girls were a victim.
This is horrifying.
They were discovered earlier this week. It was outside Leavenworth. You're more up Icicle drainage around milepost 18, around Rock Island Campground. And we do have a map that I think we've already shared online, but it is more of a rural campground. Okay. No, there was another individual that was located today, not related to the case, and that was out towards the Big Y where US 2 and 97 connect, but not related to the case.
Sheriff, you mentioned McCall, Idaho. There were reports of possible sightings, or maybe it was just the fact that the department received tips. Any credibility to some of that? I know you mentioned they did some investigating. What have you learned from that?
I can tell you so far today we had a possible sighting on East Leavenworth Road. We checked that out. It was not Mr. Decker. We had another one out at milepost 83, US 2. And then, of course, we continue to hear information about other possible sightings from across the nation. As we understood, based off the information we got back, was that the sighting in McCall, Idaho was not our suspect, but we'll continue to work with our neighboring agencies, not only here in the state, but across the nation, to help us track down any leads we do get.
What kind of head start do you think he had, knowing the truck was found Monday? When do you think he started to go out?
Worst case scenario, we could see that he might have gotten a head start on Friday, so he would have had the whole weekend to be out there. But we're still tracking it down. We will have our autopsy results. It should be coming back tomorrow, and we'll get a better idea of what kind of time frame we're looking at.
Is there any knowledge that you guys might have of possibly making his way back to Wisconsin?
We're not ruling anything out. So, I mean, we have been in touch with agencies, of course, across the nation, and just tracking down leads. We are aware of other connections he has. We've interviewed friends, co-workers. We're optimistic that we can track down his location.
Sir, he left his truck behind. Did you find in that truck any writing, any note, anything from that?
Our detectives are still going through that process. I know that we worked with the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab yesterday, in addition to our detectives, process all that information. And today, as I was leaving our emergency operations center, we did have members of the Washington State Patrol that were processing some of the cell phones we located in the vehicle.
What military training does he have that could be a factor?
He does have extensive training too.
We do understand, and we're getting more confirmation that he might have possibly gone through mountain survival school, but we also know too that he's been an outdoorsman since he was a kid. Talking with a parent, it seemed like this was something that he was attracted to, liked doing in his free time. So clearly some of the knowledge he's probably acquired throughout his lifetime, in addition to the training he might or might not have acquired through the Army, is something that we're taking into consideration. But we do want to validate what trainings he's actually gone through, and we do have some U.S. Marshals tracking that down as well.
So he can survive out there for like 3 months is basically what I'm getting, right?
Well, we're certainly an agency that learns from the past. I mean, we saw this before, I believe, around North Bend. I don't know how many years ago that was, where they had an individual who had been involved in a similar incident and then had dug himself a bunker out there. So we take that in consideration, that he may be aware of our surroundings, has the ability to survive, and that's going to certainly make it more challenging, but we're up for that challenge. I mean, we recognize that 87% of our county is not accessible by road. We've been dealing with that over the last 125-year history of this agency, so we're no stranger to that. We're aware of our terrain, and we'll continue to work with our federal partners and U.S. Forest Service that has stepped alongside of us to assist us in possibly closing down some of the trails in the area in order to ensure, of course, that the environment stays safe for anyone who may come to visit, but that we also have access to go through there and start checking all the trails and locations that we believe he may recreate.
Sure. The longer this goes on, what concerns do you have about, when you talk about the fight or flight mentality and desperation kicks in? Obviously, there's that survival skills element of it, but the longer it goes on, I mean, we've seen where things often go. Do you have concerns for whether it be those who are out looking for him, just kind of where this could all come together, and that the mentality someone may have when desperation mode kicks in?
We understand the mentality we're dealing with. We have a well-trained agency. We're a leader when it comes to de-escalation here in Washington State. We were one of the original agencies for that training hub. So we understand that we have the ability to
He's
control
confident.
situations.
Hey.
We have behavioral health units. We have the ability to communicate with him, and we're going to continue to do that. But our primary goal is to track him down. Of course, we want to make sure that he's safe, but ultimately he will be brought to justice. The amount of partners that have come alongside of us. I mean, again, I've cited the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI. We've had Homeland Security investigations. We've had Border Patrol's tracking team here. We've had Douglas County, East WENATCHEE. The amount of resources that we put on this right away gives me confidence that we are doing everything possible, in addition to working with the behavioral analyst team and also bringing cadaver dogs. We're open to anything and everything, and so far, despite our limited resources, it's part of our mission statement with the resources entrusted to us. I think that a lot of people have come alongside us to help us out. That's why I'm optimistic. So we're not doing it alone.
You said that you've been in contact with his father. What has that interaction been like with his immediate loved ones? What are they telling you about their reaction to this immense tragedy? How are they handling it?
They're frustrated with the situation, clearly, but this is their son. So, of course, that they have concerns about his safety.
Brian Laundrie
I
vibes.
understand that he does have to be brought in, and he has to be
Right?
accountable for his actions.
One more question, please. One more
So I think they just said he had contact with his dad, but I don't think they could trace it. That's what I'm kind of getting from that.
Well, we understand that he can cover a lot of ground. I mean, certainly, based off what I know from him, he's in decent shape, and he has the ability to go out there, which, if anyone's been out in that part of the county, it's thick. So it's going to make it more challenging for us to locate him. and especially if he's knowledgeable and he knows how to conceal himself. That will make a unique challenge for us, but we feel pretty confident in bringing members of Border Patrol in too, with their experience of working in more diverse terrain, especially along our Canadian border. We have people who are experts in that field as well, and also excel and have the military training as well. I mean, we recognize he's not a subject matter expert. I'm not going to glorify him in that sense. I do appreciate his service, but overall, we have other men and women who are assisting us who are also military veterans and have that kind of background and experience. And I would certainly point out our Forest Service deputy that was able to immediately locate it as soon as we got information about a general area where he's at. We're up for that challenge. So, thank you.
Okay, for our media partners, I do have a contact sheet that I'd like to have.
So he still has not been found. R.I.P. Evelyn, Olivia, and Paityn, the 3 little girls, his daughters. My heart goes out to his wife, ex-wife, the family of these girls. I mean, I don't even have children, so I can't imagine. And we don't know what happened to him. We don't know if he's still alive, if he's surviving out there. Sounds like he has really good survival skills, being in the military, or went to mountain school or academy, whatever they said, mountain living. So, you know, and let's keep in mind the whole mental health aspect. As much as we think this is an evil crime, that probably did play a big factor in it. And, you know, who's to blame? The system? Again, I will reiterate, and I said it at the beginning, is like, why did he have any custody? He should have just had supervised visits if he, 1, didn't have a home, and 2, he had mental health issues. You know, it's a big conversation. It involves politics, it involves humans, it involves morals, it involves ethics, it involves education, it involves funding, it involves healthcare. I get it. But you know, being a veteran, and if he would have got mental health, could this have been prevented? You know, so sad. 3 little girls, asphyxiation, RIP. We will continue. Thank you, Chris N. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. We will continue to follow this case for sure. I will probably do another live if we get more updates, and or I don't believe we'll be able to get the autopsy. Even if we did, I don't think that I would cover them. We do read all court documents here, but that's just too much, and they're children, so I don't even think they would be public. Surely preventable. Falling through their cracks is very scary. Sure. Another Chris Watts. Yeah, you know, but I mean, now we know Chris Watts probably does have mental health issues, or he's a psycho, but I don't think he was like BPD, right? Or diagnosed or anything like that. So very similar though. Very similar. Like I said, I will link the GoFundMe, Whitney Decker. You can go and support there. Thank you for being here and supporting me. Make sure you guys hit the like button. 30 minutes from now, we are going to another live. We cover Karen Reed trial. So we are covering trials as much as the new cases that come out. I try to get caught up. We have a lot of content this weekend. Make sure you become a member. We do fun after darks, late at night, members only. Thank you for being here tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.